You can have a steady paycheck, a place to live, and money in the bank, and still awake at 1 a.m. running numbers you already checked twice today. That's not weakness. That's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do, protecting you from a threat it can't actually see. If money is the thing that stresses you out the most, you're not imagining it. The American Psychological Association has found that finances are consistently the single biggest source of stress for Americans, ahead of work, ahead of health, ahead of relationships. So in this video, we're going to look at why financial stress hijacks your brain the same way physical danger does, and walk through 10 simple daily habits that can quietly lower that alarm, no matter what your bank account looks like right now. Why your brain treats a low balance like a threat. Your brain has an alarm system called the amygdala. It didn't evolve to understand rent or credit card statements. It evolved to detect danger fast before you can even think about it. When you open a banking app and see a number lower than you expected, your amygdala doesn't calmly evaluate the situation. It reacts the same way it would to a physical threat. Cortisol floods your system, your heart rate climbs, and the part of your brain responsible for calm, rational planning, the prefrontal cortex, temporarily goes quiet. This is why a single notification from your bank can derail your focus for the rest of the afternoon. Your body isn't overreacting. It's using old software to run a modern problem, the bandwidth tax nobody talks about. Here's where it gets more interesting. Researchers studying financial scarcity, including a widely cited study published in the journal Science, found that dealing with money problems can cost your brain the equivalent of 13 to 14 IQ points while that stress is active. This has nothing to do with intelligence. It's about capacity. When your brain is constantly scanning for financial threats, there's simply less mental bandwidth left for planning ahead or resisting impulsive decisions. Scientists call this tunneling. Your attention narrows onto the immediate shortage and quietly misses everything else, including opportunities that could actually help. Now here's the part that matters most. Your brain cannot tell the difference between an actual financial emergency and simply thinking about one. Rumination, that looping 2 a.m. thought about your credit card balance, can trigger the exact same cortisol response as a real crisis. Which means the real problem often isn't your finances. It's how many times a day your brain sounds the alarm. Habit 1. Create a worry window. Instead of letting money worries interrupt you all day long, give them a container. Pick 10 minutes, same time every day, where you're allowed to think about bills, debt, savings, whatever's on your mind. Outside that window, if a money worry shows up, tell yourself, "Not now, we'll deal with this at 6 p.m. This sounds too simple to work, but it isn't about suppressing the thought. It's about teaching your brain the worry has a scheduled place to go, so it stops demanding attention at random. Habit 2. The one-time check-in. Checking your bank balance 5, 10, 15 times a day feels like taking control. Neurologically, it's closer to the opposite. Every time you check and feel a flicker of relief, okay, it's fine. You're reinforcing a loop. Check, relieve anxiety, repeat. That trains your brain to need checking more, not less. Instead, pick 1 or 2 set times a day to look and close the app the rest of the time. Less checking, paradoxically, means less anxiety. Habit 3. Automate the boring decisions. Remember that bandwidth tax. Every financial decision you make manually, transferring savings, paying a bill, deciding whether to buy something, spends a small amount of mental fuel. Automate what you can. Auto-pay for fixed bills. Auto-transfer a small, realistic amount to savings the day you get paid. You're not removing control, you're removing decision fatigue, and that frees up bandwidth for the choices that actually need your full attention. There's one habit most people get backwards, and it's the one that decides whether opening your bank app calms you down or trains your brain to be even more afraid of it. That's exactly where we're headed next. Habit 4. Open it instead of avoiding it. Think about 2 people who each get a bill they're dreading. The first one leaves it unopened on the counter for a week. The dread doesn't go away, it grows, because the brain fills unknown numbers with worst-case scenarios. The second person opens it the same day, even if they can't pay it immediately, even if the number is bad. Something interesting happens. Once it's opened, the brain updates. It goes from, this is an unknown threat, to, this is a known problem I can plan around. The fear doesn't vanish instantly, but it shrinks, the same way any fear shrinks with exposure instead of avoidance. Every time you avoid a bill, an account, an app, you're not escaping the stress. You're training your brain to fear it more, open it, even if you can't fix it today. Habit 5. Create one small financial win a day. Cancel one subscription you forgot you had. Log one expense. Move $5 into savings. Pay one small bill in full. None of these tasks are life-changing on their own. That's not the point. Your brain needs regular proof that action leads somewhere, and modern financial life rarely offers a clear finish line. The bills refill, the to-do list refills. A small, completed win tells your nervous system, we're capable of handling this, and that feeling carries into the next task. Habit 6. Breathe before you look. Before you open your banking app, your budget spreadsheet, or a bill, take 4 seconds to inhale, hold, then take 6 seconds to exhale slowly. This isn't a wellness cliché. It's a direct signal to your nervous system that you are not in physical danger, which is the same message your amygdala is waiting for before it lets the prefrontal cortex, the calm, planning part of your brain, come back online. Look at your numbers from a regulated state, not a panicked one, and you'll make noticeably better decisions. Habit 7. Ask what you can influence, not what you can't. You can't control inflation. You can't control your industry, your company's decisions, or the broader economy. When your brain fixates on things it can't influence, motivation quietly collapses. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what's the one thing inside this that I can actually move today? Maybe it's negotiating one bill. Maybe it's categorizing last month's spending. Maybe it's just showing up to the worry window instead of avoiding it. Shifting from helplessness to agency is one of the fastest ways to lower financial anxiety, even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. If you only built these 7 habits, you'd already feel calmer. But there's a reason your brain forgets progress almost as fast as you make it, and that blind spot might be the single biggest reason financial stress feels endless, even when your situation is actually improving. Let's finish there. Habit 8. Let your environment hold the plan. Willpower is unreliable, memory is unreliable, but your environment doesn't forget. Put your savings goal somewhere you'll actually see it, a sticky note on your monitor, a widget on your phone's home screen, a number written on your mirror. When your environment carries the reminder, you don't have to rely on remembering to care about your goal every single day. The cue does the work for you. Habit 9. Build a financial progress archive. Your brain adapts to progress almost instantly. The debt you've paid down over the last year starts to feel normal, unremarkable, even though it took real effort. This is exactly why financial progress can feel invisible even when it's real. So build a simple archive, a screenshot of your account balance every month, a note every time you pay off a card or hit a savings milestone. Once a week, look back at it. You're not doing this to celebrate. You're doing it to remind your nervous system with actual evidence that things are moving, because few things calm financial anxiety faster than proof that you're not stuck. Habit 10. Give yourself something to look forward to. Scarcity thinking convinces your brain that every dollar is dangerous and every reward is reckless. But total deprivation isn't sustainable, and it isn't necessary. Plan one small, intentionally budgeted thing to look forward to, a coffee out, a modest weekend plan, a show you've been wanting to watch. The amount matters less than the anticipation. A brain that has nothing to look forward to stays braced for impact. A brain with one small planned reward ahead of it can actually relax in between. Why this works? None of these 10 habits change your bank balance overnight. That was never really the point. Financial stress isn't only a numbers problem, it's a nervous system problem, and a nervous system responds to signals, not spreadsheets. A worry window signals there's a boundary. A small win signals you're capable. A progress archive signals you're moving. None of that requires more income. It requires a brain that isn't sounding the alarm all day long. You may not be able to control the price of groceries, your paycheck, or the economy this year. but you can influence how loud that alarm goes off every time you think about money. And that, unlike almost everything else on this list, is something you can actually train. If this video helped you see your own money stress a little differently, consider giving it a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people dealing with the exact same thing. And if you want more real, practical psychology on stress, habits, and everyday mental health, subscribe to Think Again. I'll see you in the next video.